Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irina. I'm the host here, and my guest today is Diana Bellissimo, the owner of Lilymoore Farm in Pleasant Valley, New York. Welcome to my channel, Diana.
Hi.
Well, I met you in person. So I went for recently, there was a tour of New York, upstate New York farms, and you invited me to your farm, and I'm gonna insert a little video here showing my visit to your farm because I absolutely loved it.
Hey there, I am Diana and I am the owner of Lilymoore Farm and also American Made Alpaca, and welcome to our farm. Our farm is a working alpaca and llama farm. So everyone on the farm has a permanent home here. Half, if not a little more, of all the alpacas and llamas needed a home, and we were really glad to make them part of our family. Lilymoore Farm offers farm tours and treks and goat walks as well. And we also have American Made Alpaca, where we take the fiber from these cuties and make stuff, socks, shawls, yarn, gloves, anything you can imagine with fiber. And we have a lot of fun with it. This year we are doing a dye garden. And so we're starting right over there, and we were planting all native plants that then we can use to dye our yarn, and I'm having a lot of fun learning all of that as well. We are different in that I believe we are the only working farm in the world that is also home to a sanctuary, and the sanctuary is a 501c3 called Dreaming of a Chance, and it rescues pigeons. So this is the only place that has both a working sanctuary and a working farm at the same time. And we have a lot of fun doing it, and have a lot of fun looking around the farm, and thanks for visiting.
I want to ask you how it all started. Like, did you grow up on the farm? Was that always part of your life?
So no, I grew up on a smaller parcel of land, but we always had a ton of animals. And back about 15 years ago, my sister-in-law and I got horses, and it all kind of came forward from there. And 10 years ago, my husband asked me if I'd like to have the horses in the backyard, and who wouldn't want that? And so everything evolved from there.
Well, tell me how the Lilymoore farm started and how it grew, and like how you acquire all those animals.
So it started by us buying an abandoned farm. It was so abandoned that there were even trees growing out of the back of the house. And so we took it on and we started fixing it up. And like I said, we had 2 horses at the time. And then gradually we got the miniature horse, and he was free on Craigslist. He needed a home. And then we went to a rescue, and we got some chickens that needed a home from a rescue. And then eventually my husband's like, okay, what do you want to do with the farm? And I decided I wanted to be an alpaca farmer because I'm a huge lover of animals, and anything that was going to end up on the dinner table would just break my heart. And the idea of milking cow at 4 in the morning did not appeal to me. And I made the right decision for me. I'm very much an alpaca and llama farmer and just love those camelids to pieces. And over the years, more and more people have called me because their animals have needed homes. Most of the ones that needed homes was because the owners were ill or going out of business. And so gradually we added the goats, the pig. We added over more than half of our herd of alpacas and llamas were added to our family because they needed homes. And then eventually my daughter asked during the pandemic if she could start a 501c3 to help poultry. And that very quickly turned into a pigeon sanctuary called Dreaming of a Chance, because pigeons fall under poultry because people eat squab. And so we just continuously have added on to our families, and now we're about 200 animals.
Right. And I love that variety of animals. Like visiting your farm, it was like amazing to see all these animals. But what blew my mind, you knew everyone by name. You knew the story of everyone. I mean, they were family members. They were not animals to you.
No, I know every single one of them and I love them all. And they all know their names. They all have distinct personalities and they all are a ton of fun.
Well, I have 3 cats at home, and it's sort of like having 3 very competitive children at the same place, because there is constantly some sort of interaction between them, and it's not always peaceful. How is it with the whole herd of alpacas and llamas?
They go in timeout. If they misbehave, I tell them time out now and they go in timeout and they know that they have to behave or they're going in timeout.
I mean, is there like, when you're talking about them having like unique characters, do you know, like, are they friends between each other mostly?
There are, you can see best friends, even just looking through my feed. Like you'll see that Bella and Tessa are a huge amount of time in photos together. Best friends hang out together. There's some that they're not best friends. They would rather not be near the other person, and so maybe one eats in the bottom field, one eats in the top field if they're not the best of friends. But they definitely, just like humans, have an interaction and have people they like better and people they don't like better.
Well, you made it sort of like open to public kind of farms. So what made you do this decision, take this decision?
When I first got Mercy and Bella, they were my first 2. I had them at another farm because our farm, those fields weren't ready yet. Because like I said, it was so abandoned. A lot of the fields were full of pricker bushes and we had to get it ready. And so I would go over there and I would put them on halter and walk them around the farm where they were at. And that was a really special time for me. And I wanted to share that with people. Not a lot of people get to meet farm animals in general, let alone alpacas and llamas. And it brings a great joy to people. And I love being able to share that with people and letting them see what they're actually like. A lot of times, the ones that they do interact are at places where they're not always in their best mood because they're not in their natural habitat. And so they get to see the quirky personalities and they get to hug an alpaca and take a selfie with a llama and stuff like that. And just let people get away from their day-to-day life and have an hour or so just sighing, relaxing, and enjoying themselves.
Do the animals like this kind of interaction with people? Do they look forward to it, or is it like a job?
What you saw with Star Dancer, she's a big mush. She absolutely loves it. So they're all trained to lie down. If they don't want to go, they just lie down and they're like, nope, not doing this trek if they're going on a trek. And if it's a farm tour, well, then they just won't go to the fence. But they have that right. And they've all been trained how to tell me, because they can't tell me if their foot hurts or something like that. So by lying down, Tessa even just shakes her head no. She doesn't want to go. So yes, the ones that are the alpaca buddies, they love going. But if they're having an off day, they just let us know, and then they don't have to go.
And how often do you have open doors for visitors? Is it like every weekend?
Yeah, we do weekends. We do Saturdays and Sundays, and there are 2 treks on Saturday and 2 farm tours on Saturday and a goat walk. And on Sundays, there's 1 farm tour, a private trek or private farm tour, depending, and the 2 treks and a goat walk, because the goats are a lot of fun in their own right.
That's the only animals I didn't spend time with when I was on the tour, just because there is like so much to see, and you showed me everything, but was like so much to talk to about and so much to see. Tell me about the pigeon sanctuary, because that's like, it doesn't seem a likely animal to need a sanctuary? Like,
They are maybe one of the animals the most that need the sanctuary. It's no different than a puppy or kitten. They've been raised in captivity. You saw the ones with the beautiful fantails. A lot of them come in, they're dehydrated, they're malnutrition, they're full of different parasites and diseases. Some have been attacked by hawks, some have been hit by cars, broken wings, like just all different situations. And just like you have wolves and coyotes out in nature, but a dog does not belong in nature, the same thing with the pigeons. And by taking these pigeons in and giving them a forever home, we're also helping the wildlife, because the diseases that I mentioned before, guess what? They're sharing them with wildlife. And so we're able to not only help the individual animal, but also the wildlife who might get hit with those diseases as well. If you think about the feral pigs or the snake problem down in Florida, like domestic animals belong domestic and wild animals belong wild.
right. Is that part of your like vision to educate people about things like that? Because like I didn't know about it until I started talking to you about it. It was all new learning experience for me.
Yeah, that's hugely important to my daughter and I, and to the whole board of Dreaming of a Chance, is that most people don't even think about pigeons. They make fabulous, fabulous pets. Like I told you when you were there, they even sell little pigeon pants that look like suspenders so that they can fly around your house. They're fabulous pets, and they're kind of a forgotten child. They were people's first pets. They think even Neanderthals had them. And now people don't usually think of them at all, or they got that bad reputation of being rats with wings, when they are so incredibly smart and so easily trained.
When you planning those visits to the farm, right? Are you ever concerned about animal misbehaving? Because at the end of the day, they can be unpredictable.
Before an alpaca or a llama goes on a trek, they have spent so many hours being trained by us. There's, it's just like a person who has a very well-trained dog or cat. I'm not going to say that 100% of the time, everything's going to be perfect, but they have been trained for so many hours that the chance is very, very minimal. Probably less than you're driving your car down the street that anything would happen. I'm not just taking a random alpaca or llama and giving it to a person. And we also go through safety features at the beginning of each trek to teach people how to walk, how to respond. We tell people that if they don't feel comfortable and they need to drop the lead, my alpacas and llamas are all trained to go right back to their field. So we set up so many safety measures, including having to be 9 years old or older to do one of those treks. So I've done everything I possibly could to make sure that everything runs very smoothly and that people have a really enjoyable time.
Well, tell me how you learned how to train all like alpacas and llamas, because they were new animals to you. So how did you learn?
I just took my horse knowledge and moved it over to the alpacas and the llamas. So basically just the same way I was taught, to walk my horse and to slow down my horse, I just applied that to them. And a lot of alpaca and llama owners also own horses or have previously owned horses. So it kind of fit right in to the way a lot of people were training their alpacas.
Tell me about people who work with you. Who are the other people on the farm?
So my daughter Tiffany, when she's not in school, and she also, when she's at school, does a lot of the behind the scenes, and she is going to be a vet and going to college right now for that. And then I have Alex, and Alex is going to be starting college, but I think he's still going to be staying with us, and he has been around animals pretty much his entire life, and around farm animals, I think, since he was 9. So he has a ton of experience. And then Denise is a vet tech. And so she has had years and years of animal experience, and all of them love animals. And Natalia works for both the Sanctuary and Lilymoore Farm. And she has a great love of animals and is really compassionate with them. And Liz is the newest member of our team, and she also volunteers for the Sanctuary and works for me, and she has a great love of animals as well. And they all are really compassionate, loving people, and they enjoy interacting with both the animals and the customers. My entire team, I have a great team of people. I'm very lucky that way.
Is it difficult for you to delegate tasks? Because, like, after all, you consider these animals part of your family.
Well, I know. I think that I picked all people that I really like and trust, and I feel that they're all very capable of doing that. And not that I don't get to play with them every single day, but I have a great team, and I think they do a wonderful job. So I have full confidence in them.
Well, what amazes me the most about you, and I told it to you before we started interview, that the amount of things you're juggling is just mind-blowing to me. Because, like, the farm is one thing, and you have a family, and on top of it, you're like always thinking of the next thing that you're gonna do. Like, and right now you just planted the garden for the dye plants, and you're starting to dye your own yarn. So there's like so many things going on at the same time. Describe me your day. I know you said you don't want to get up in the morning and milk the cows, but like, what time do you get up?
Usually between 4:30 and 5:30. And during that time, then I'm with the indoor animals. We have some quails indoors, and usually there's a couple pigeons indoors as well. And then I have the cats and the dog. And so I spend time with them. And then we go out and do feeding or of either the birds or the fluffy guys, or both, depending on who's on staff, whether I'm doing that or not. And there's always stuff around the farm to do, marketing materials, making videos, weeding gardens, planting gardens, watering animals, fixing up the farm, mowing. There's always, each day is very, very different depending on what I got going on.
Tell me about how you make this farm sustainable, because it's, it's like all these animals, they're not cheap to maintain, I know, and it all takes a lot of resources.
So we do special events. We do the treks, the alpaca and llama treks. We do the farm tours and the goat walking. On top of that, we have all the products in the store. And so we have everything from socks and shawls and blankets and gloves, mittens, and of course the yarn you see behind me. And so I sell it both online at AmericanMadeAlpaca.com and also in store. And in a couple of weeks, I'm doing 2 shows as well. So I try to get out in the community to showcase all the products. And so just through the sale of products and different services through the treks and farm tours.
Do you ever get burnt out? Because it's like, there's no weekends there. There is no vacation from the farm.
I just love it. I really love it. There's always somebody to hug. There's always somebody that's happy to see you. And you just go get another cup of coffee.
Tell me about this store. How did that start? Like, when did you start? How soon after you started the farm?
The store came, I was doing some shows and stuff, but the store's only a couple years old, and American Made Alpaca itself is only 2 years old. And like I said, we had to fix up the property so much that the building that we're in is 4.5 years. So the store's been about 4 years. And then we split Lilymoore Farm and American Made Alpaca about 2 years ago. And each year I've been adding more and more products. Like I said to you when you came to visit, the big thing this year is I'm going to be dyeing yarn. I'm also going to be dyeing some of our socks and shawls as well. And I'm really looking forward to, we've been doing some of it, and I'm really looking forward to being creative with that. It's a way to be very creative. And I can't wait to see all the different dyes and how it comes out with the flowers on our farm and stuff like that. It's pretty exciting.
Educate me about alpaca versus llama and their wool.
So alpacas were out of vicuñas, which are a much smaller animal than the llamas, and they've always been domesticated, and they were all about the fiber, still all about the fiber. And so it used to be just down in South America, it was for royalty. Only royalty got to wear their fiber. And they have little triangle ears, and they're usually very, very fluffy. They just got shorn, so right now they're very, very tiny. Whereas llamas are always been domestic as well, and they have the cute little banana ears. And a lot of times when people do cartoons, they kind of combine the two. But llamas are much bigger. Most of my llamas are over 400 pounds, and their fiber is not as soft as the alpacas. And they have many uses. Like I said, from pulling a cart, they can protect herds. Very different personalities as well. I find my alpacas' personalities are kind of much more quirky and silly, where my llamas are just very sweet and more even-tempered in general. But I've heard I got pretty lucky on the llama end, that I got some pretty amazing llamas.
Well, do you think you got lucky, or do you think they sort of soak up your personality?
I think it's a little of both. I got most of my llamas from one woman that raised them, and she loved them so much. So I think it's a combo on that.
Tell me about going to show. How much preparation goes into the shows?
So I don't bring the animals. I bring the products, and I have 2 shows that we're getting ready for. And I will be spending the rest of the afternoon. My daughter is mortaring the yarn right now. We're going to spend the whole afternoon dyeing the yarn to get it ready for the show. I have been, because this is kind of the start of my show season. It's a little more prep than typical, but we have been quite a few weeks redesigning all of the booths, because we're going to have 2 different booths going at once, and seeing what looks right, what doesn't look right, changing tablecloths, making signs. I just ran and got a table off of Facebook Marketplace because I needed a new table for it. And then if it's a show I've already been to, I kind of know what the customers are looking for. And if it's a new show, I will lay out products, but have a whole bunch of different products underneath the table until I learn the customer base and what the customers prefer.
Well, how is it different? Like, describe me different kinds of customers.
So you have some people that are all about yarn, and they're excited about yarn, and but then you also have people that want bright, colorful yarn. You want people that maybe want all the naturals with no dyes at all. So you've got different people. Some people want DK, some people want bulky, you know, some people want sport weight. So I have a whole different combo of that. And then usually more, like I said, underneath, so that if they say, well, do you have this? I'm able to produce it. And then you have people that are really in love with socks, the same way some people are in love with yarn. And so I have a whole variety of different socks for them. You know, you want summer, you want heavy winter, all that kind of thing. And then my boucle mittens, which are absolutely amazing. Believe it or not, I sell a ton of in the summertime because people are knowing that winter is just around the corner. And so it seems like a silly thing that I'm going to be bringing to a show, but no, people, even though they're enjoying the summer, they know we're in New York, and those mittens are so comfortable when you try them on. So I have assortment of hats and stuff for people as well. And depending, like one of the shows I'm at, I have an 8-foot table. The other one, I have a 10 by 10 booth. So depending on the size of the show allows you what you can and cannot bring as well.
Tell me about, like, how do you produce that yarn, and do you use some mill nearby? Like, where is it done?
So all the products that I have are American made with American fiber, American grown fibers. I belong to 2 different fiber pools. And I also work with another company as well. And so my fiber gets split up between the different fiber pools, and they make the products for me.
Are you doing any knitting or crocheting yourself?
My daughter does that. My oldest daughter does knitting and crocheting. I have tried both of them, and I think that I am better suited dyeing. I'm not meticulous. Like, she has beautiful, meticulous little stitches, and I do not. And I like being able to do the big bats of dyeing and things like that. I find that more enjoying because I don't have to be exactly precise kind of thing.
I mean, with natural dyeing, like, it always very interesting to me because it's not exact science. It's like if the plant was on the sunny side or if it was on the shady side, you're getting different colors from it. If, like, depending on the humidity of the air, depending on the moisture and the soil, it's like it's all very sort of try and go. Do you ever get frustrated with, like, the results?
No, I love that. I love that you, I do everything in small batches. And so I love that. I love seeing what each one comes up with and how they're different and different variations. Like if I do start with a fawn yarn, or if I start with a cream yarn, what's the different variations? Or if I'm doing indigo, when you dip at different times, how it comes out. I love all that. That's kind of more my personality, that each new one is kind of exciting in its own way.
Tell me about that dye garden. What did you plant in there?
So I looked at a whole bunch of different resources, and I hope I got it right. I did some black-eyed Susans, I did mint, I did lavender, I have marigolds going on in there as well, though a squirrel keeps digging those up and taking them. So I don't know how much I'm going to get of those marigolds. I'm trying. We also did some tick seed in there also.
Have you, so this is the second year you're doing this garden?
No, this is first year for the dye garden.
Year. Yeah, because like when I was there, it was just all prepared, but you didn't plant anything. It was still a little chilly, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of like the marigold. Even last night we dipped down. I have blankets all over everything. So yeah, I had to wait until it got a little warmer, and then I planted it. So the whole thing is planted nice. Like I said, except for the poor marigolds that the squirrel's attacking.
Do you ever bring alpacas inside the house?
Uh, Once in a blue moon. A lot of times they'll actually come to the store and interact with visitors in the store. Once in a while they come in the house, but not too often for the house.
What's your favorite thing about having a farm?
I love all the animals. It's very peaceful. They're very calming. I absolutely love being able to hug and kiss all of them all the time. It's like having 200 of your best friends around you all the time.
I mean, is there like ever a time when it's stressful?
Yeah, when somebody's sick and you don't know why they're sick and you're trying desperately to save their life, that is beyond stressful and heartbreaking as well. And having 200 animals, especially so many that have been through rough times and have so many ailments, with the poultry than with the alpacas. But when you lose one, it's absolutely heartbreaking because you know that one personally. And even though it's 200, it's a rough Band-Aid to rip off each time.
Yeah.
So that part's hard.
Well, I interviewed a couple of guys from Spain about their farm, and they were saying how they wanted to start with couple animals, and then it grew, and now they thinking maybe they're gonna get to 50. Do you see your farm going indefinitely? Do you have like plans to stop getting more animals, or it's
So the sanctuary is different from the farm. So the sanctuary will keep, adding pigeons. But I think, yeah, I think that I'm at a comfortable number right this second, as far as Lilymoore Farm goes. And I like to be able to spend individual time with each and every one of them. And if I get too big, I won't be able to do that. So yeah, I think I'm comfortable where I am.
well, tell me how, like, it was a little bit confusing for me at first to figure out that there's like American Alpaca and there's Lilymoore Farm and then there's a sanctuary. How do you, like, why there's like all these three different entities, and how do you divide your time in between the three?
So my daughter is in charge of the sanctuary. And so that is, she's the president of it. And but I do a huge amount of the animal care, and I also help her with marketing and things like that. And then Lilymoore Farm and American Made Alpaca, they go hand in hand because it's the fiber from the animals. And so they're just a continuation of one and another. But I have people that want to just get an email about all the fiber products and love the products. We have people around the United States. We're very popular in Alaska. For very obvious reasons. And so it just was time to split them in a couple of years ago into two different divisions, because there's people that are local. Lilymoore is much more a local, or if you're coming to visit thing, whereas American Made Alpaca is national, and we ship across the country. So it was just time to let each one be their own entity.
Well, tell me about the marketing part, because like you have your hands busy with the animals. When do you find the time to go on Instagram and do the posts, and how do you decide how much time to spend there?
I think it varies. I'm a person that loves learning. So if I have downtime in the evening or whatever, I'm always learning about, now I'm learning about dyeing. I'm also learning about new trends, like what's going on with like chat box GPT and stuff like that. I love learning. And so part of being a farmer and entrepreneur is there's always a huge amount of learning going on. And so sometimes it's it's kind of just what's of interest to me. I mean, the animal care is always first and foremost, but as far as other things go, maybe there's a really cool new trend on Instagram I want to try, or maybe there is something going on with dyeing that, oh, you know, now it's time to pick the forsythias or something like that. So it varies every week.
Right. How can my viewers help spread the word about your businesses and your farm, or help you in any way?
Well, I would love for them to be able to come and visit the farm or tell people about the farm. That always helps tremendously. The farm is Lilymoore Farm, or they could come to the store and see all the products or see us at a show that we're going to be at. Even just word of mouth, just telling others that, you know, I heard about this farm, I heard about this pigeon sanctuary. If they love pigeons, it's called Dreaming of a Chance Again. Following us on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, any of those things always helps immensely.
What's the best thing one can make with alpaca or llama yarn?
You know, I love the socks. I'm a huge sock. I'm one of those persons that people that collect the socks. But I also have a huge amount of shawls and hats as well. But that is just me personally. People make everything imaginable, from blankets and sweaters. Certainly make the socks and scarves and shawls. There's so many different things that they can make with them. And like, it's temperature regulating. So I wear it in the summer. I had on one of our shawls and it was like 90 out, and my family, we're at a family gathering, and everybody was getting bit up by mosquitoes and I was not. And because it's temperature regulating, I wasn't sweating and they were all sweating. And I looked like, because I was in the shawl, that I should be the person that was. It's really pretty amazing fiber.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I love working with alpaca. It has the most beautiful drape to it. So like to me, this is, and it's so light also, because like you can, I mean, it just like, it takes no weight at all to make something super warm.
Yeah, and it's able to mix with so many different things, like from cotton and merino, and get a different result from each thing. I have become a little bit of an alpaca snob. I only wear alpaca socks, and I just love it. It's truly amazing.
I mean, I know the question I'm about to ask you is probably just gonna get a giggle out of you, but like, do you have a favorite animal on your farm?
I love huge amounts of them. There are some that I hang out more with, who naturally come to me. Lily, the farm was named after, but I love all the horses, and I have a huge amount that I hang out with. Maybe I have a favorite dozen.
I love that, the favorite dozen. I mean, it was so fun. Like, do you spill your secrets to them? Do they, because they're great listeners. Like when I was hanging out with the llama, I told him a lot of secrets there. I even make a reel about it.
They are very good listeners. And sometimes people do not want to hear about if you're having a bad day. They're pretty good about listening to it anyway.
Well, I'm so glad I got to visit your farm and meet you and hang out with the animals. It was like absolutely the highlight of my trip. Like, you made my day amazing. And I can't recommend highly enough for you guys, if you ever in the area, make a point to come and take a tour of the Lilymoore farm, because you're gonna love it. You're gonna love seeing all the variety of animals. And you can feel the love in the air there. Like, it just like from the second you step in, you already feel like very welcome.
Oh, thank you. I try to make it very welcoming to people. I love letting them see the animals. And it was so much fun having you on the farm. I had a ball hanging out with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for being my guest today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy that I got to see you again.